Welcome to another broadcast of the Deborah Ruffini Show on the Artist First Radio Network. All past shows are archived. You can find them at artistfirst.com. And now, from England, here she is, your host, Deborah Ruffini.
Greetings from England. Welcome to the Deborah Ruffini Show. Today it is my great pleasure to be speaking again with the amazing Maureen Sullivan. Maureen is an absolute trooper, a survivor of the Magdalene Laundries, which were institutions run by Catholic women for supposedly fallen women. I spoke with Maureen back in, I think it was 2019. My goodness, three years ago. Where does the time go? Maureen, thank you so much for being with us. How are you doing?
No problem. I'm grand, thanks. Yes, things are good.
Yeah. Oh.
I suppose I feel a lot better because my book is coming out at long last.
Yes! Great.
Yes, The Girl in the Tunnel. It'll be out in April.
Right.
It's gone to print yesterday, so I don't think it'll take that long to print it.
Oh.
So I went to print yesterday and it's definitely coming out in April. It was a long struggle.
Yeah.
It was very difficult to write. Brought back a lot of memories.
Yes,
but
I bet.
If this book can help one child, it's worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very important that child abuse is spoke about, that it's not covered up. It has to stop. We have to be able to come forward and speak about it. Why it happens, why do these people do it,
Yeah.
why are children treated like this, why does a grown adult want to have sex with a child. It has to be spoken about. If we don't talk about it, how are we going to ever cure it,
Yeah.
heal it, and put a stop to it? We can't just keep putting people into prison and doing nothing about it and making the child feel guilty. Well, I hope that doesn't happen today.
Yeah.
But in my times, and the reason I was put into the Magdalene Laundry is because my stepfather was looked at as a good man. He took my mother on with 3 children, and we shouldn't disturb. Now, we weren't part of the family unit anymore.
Yeah.
It was the marriage that was at the time was the part of the family unit. Now, I found this all out in the last few years. I found all this stuff out, and it's very, very hard stuff to take into your mind.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very difficult to deal with, that they would treat an innocent child as your father is dead, this happened to you, let's not to talk about it, we put you into a man. Like, I don't know if I spoke to you about the nun I met, and she admitted to that they couldn't have me with the other children because I asked her, why did you take my education away from me?
Yeah.
And she said, we couldn't have you with the other children in case you would have told them what your stepfather did to you.
All about protecting the abuser and blaming the abused, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you see, he was a good man. He had 10 other children. He was needed at home, and he was a great man to marry. My mother was already 3 children. He was a great guy. And that's the way they protected him, and that's the way they supported him. What a crime.
Yeah. Isn't it?
It was a crime they committed towards an innocent child and putting me into a laundry with elderly women, none of us allowed to speak to each other, communicate, nothing. It was so cruel, and to take my education away from me.
Yeah.
No remorse. That nun, she did, Sister Breed, well, I probably can't mention her name, but she did say sorry.
Yeah.
Now, that did mean something to me.
Yes, I'll bet something. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It takes guts and it takes great courage to say sorry. And it always means something to me. I think it's very important. It's like the apology that we got from Enda Kenny as well. That was so important to me. That we got that apology. And I appreciate it, and rightly so, that we got that apology. That gives us that little bit of hope.
Yeah.
So I think what doesn't give you hope is then you have people on the outs, around on the town, and your family attacking you, saying horrible things about you. I mean, life was very, very difficult without having to suffer that. So I think my book will put a stop to all that.
Yeah, that's
I'm
brilliant.
hoping.
That's brilliant. And like you say, if it can just, well, I'm sure it will, save many, be a blessing to many people that can identify with that and been through that sort of thing. But like you say, even if it's just one, but that's the way to do it, isn't it? To get it out there and to not be hushed. To say, no, enough is enough.
Exactly. That way we'll be able to deal with it. We can talk about it. We can maybe cure these people. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
We won't know until we speak about it, until we bring it out into the open. Because a lady, a journalist actually, was telling me the other day that 1 in 4 children in Ireland are abused sexually abused.
1 in 4?
1 in 4, she told me the other day. And I said, that is just, I said, you are not patient yet. She said, that is the truth. She said, 1 in 4 children in Ireland sexually abused.
That's incredibly high.
Yeah, very, very high. And I mean, is this going to get higher?
Well,
how do we stop it? How do we deal with it? If we keep it suppressed and not talk about it, we'll never be able to deal with it.
This is it, isn't it? And when I was thinking of you, I'll mention at some point in this show why you came to mind quite recently, Maureen. I listened to our broadcast again and, read some of your articles and things. And I was thinking about Rosa Parks, and I thought if she just stayed, on that bus and just thought, I've had a long day at work, I might as well just get up for the white person. Yet we need people. No, she was so tired that she rose up and fought. And I was thinking the same thing with you. It's you don't, you can't just.
You've got to. We have to do something, or else how can I give out about the nuns years ago and the church covering this up if I don't speak out? I'm just as bad.
Actually, that's a good point. Wouldn't say just as bad. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just as bad. If I don't speak up for innocent children, I'm just as much to blame. I know I'll suffer. I know I'll get people saying things and awful things about me and everything else. But look, I don't mind. I've had worse than that done to me. I was an innocent child and I've been raped. I never used that word before because I used to abuse. Yeah. Because that's what we're used to using here. It's not. It's the rape of an innocent child.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have to speak out. We have to make change. It'll never change if we don't speak about it.
That's right.
Yeah, it's hard. It's not easy about it. It's emotional. I know. I suffer it every day. I mean, I'm 70 now. Wow. And I've decided that my book is coming out.
Yeah.
And that I can leave this world to say I did something to try and change things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I'd be happy with that.
That's brilliant. And I'm glad, what I love about is that you don't just take this sort of, oh, well, never mind, it happened attitude. That's just the way life is. So many people just have that, oh, well, never mind, that's just the way life is. No, it's not. That shouldn't be the way life should be,
Thank you. It's lovely to hear that, because that goes on a lot here in Ireland.
Does it?
It's one of these things, and I mean, you wouldn't believe what a woman said to me one day, and I was just shocked. Yeah. It took me a few months to get over it. And when she turned around, she said, well, it's not so bad on the little girls. And I looked at her, because we were talking about the abuse in Artane and, different industrial school life, letter frack, and they were all little boys. And I looked at her and I said, sorry, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, she said, the little girls have the plumbing.
Have the what?
And I said, the what? She said, well, me has the plumbing, she said. And I said, I'm sorry, I really don't understand you. I said, I'd love if you could explain that to me a little bit better. I said, what do you mean we've got little girls have the plumbing? Well, she said, little girls are made. Like, I prefer a man, it must be much harder.
Oh.
Like, how? Yeah. I was sick. I was sick for weeks and weeks and weeks after that a woman could think like that.
Yeah. It must be...
it's even making me get sick now, even thinking back on it. I tried to get it out of my head But what a horrible thing to say, and what a rotten way to put it. The plumbing.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
That's
it's
horrid.
Disgusting.
Vile. Absolutely vile.
Yeah. Horrible. Really horrible.
But I wonder if is it just the mindset? Is it the programming that the mind has just been conditioned to think that way?
Yes, it has been conditioned to think that way. They're just brainwashed.
Yeah.
A lot of people in Ireland are brainwashed. They cannot bear the truth. They're not able to deal with the truth.
No.
And that is so sad. So I mean, I don't mind. They can ridicule me all they want. I don't care. I'm so proud of my book. It's coming out now, and it's going to be a fantastic book.
Yeah.
There's a lot of very cruel stuff in it. It has to be told. It happened. There's no lies in it. And if as I said, I know I'm repeating myself now, but if I can save one child from going through what I went through, well, then I'm happy.
Absolutely.
I hope it saves more, but I hope, even if there's only one.
It'll be many more. I'm looking forward to purchasing my copy, and I'm sure I have friends that would be interested in reading on this as well.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'll let you know the date and everything. I should be doing a book launch, I think, the end of February. I'll know more now in January.
Yeah.
I know more about it, but it's The Girl in the Tunnel. We're not changing the name of it, because that's where they used to hide me when the inspectors come around.
Yeah, I was listening to that. Horrid, isn't it? It must have been scary.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was just horrible the way they treated me. They could have, even if they didn't have ways of dealing with it at the time, I kind of get a little bit of that they were ignorant and things like that, allowing for everything. But you would think that one of them would have put their arm around me and said, look, are you okay? You can come into the office, you can talk to me.
Yeah.
We mustn't tell other people, it's best to keep it among ourselves, and help me and let me have my education.
Yes.
You would have turned around and you would have said, well, they did try, but no, they punished me every day I was in there. They looked me up and down like if I was the dirty child. That's the way they looked at me, and that's the way they thought about me, that I was dirty.
I just can't understand how one can reconcile that with the nature and the love of Christ.
It was just so horrible.
Yeah.
I just never forget. I'm sorry. I tried to forgive them. I tried to go deep inside, but they took my soul. Not only my education, the love of my grandmother took me away from my mother. And I needed support because I was a child without a father.
Yeah.
And I needed a little bit of support, but they destroyed my soul as well, and then just kicked me out into the world, back down to Carlow, trafficked me to 2 other places that I never even got justice for. And every time I went to talk to anybody in authority in Ireland about my case, the very minute they heard that I was an abused child, they put their pens down. They cannot deal with it, don't want to deal with it, and don't want to know about it. To me, that's awful sad.
It is awful. And it's interesting, isn't it, how people tend to put their heads in the sand when it comes to matters of abuse. Whether it was a matter of you being hushed up as a kid or the attempt of being hushed up as an adult. It's very strange how... Are people scared of abuse? Do they just want... What is it? It's an odd thing, because most people should be hopping mad about it.
Yes. But that bothers me an awful lot, that so many people, and it's just not bothered.
No.
They don't, it's like if they don't care. But we have to care. We have to care about our children.
Yeah.
They're our future.
Yeah.
And children shouldn't have to go forward in the world that they were abused as a child and afraid of their lives to talk about it. How come so many, even in the boys' industrial schools, I've been talking to quite a lot of them, none of them spoke out until they got into their 40s, 50s, 60s.
That's awful.
Because they were so downtrodden,
Yeah.
it was beaten into them not to say it. I mean, we have a big scandal here now in Blackrock College. Now, this was the elite ones were cost a lot of money to go there, and a lot of abuse went on there. Now that's been investigated into very quickly.
Oh, okay.
Oh yes, it is. That's been investigated into very quickly, and they don't want the big scandals getting out. But a lot of the men are coming forward, and fair play to them. They're very strong men, and I'm delighted that they're coming forward.
Yeah. That's good, isn't it? It's good. Yeah, because it's one thing to sort of try and, to be... people have to learn that people are not going to be hushed up when injustice is concerned and things like this.
Yes.
And
but it's been dealt with awful quickly, where it was us within the industrial school, the poor children. They tried to cover that up. They didn't want it coming out. They went against us in every way possible. It was so hard for us to get justice in this country because we were the poor ones.
Yeah. That's interesting, isn't it? And
it's,
and again, like you mentioned a bit about hard to forgive, and I was just thinking, are we supposed to? Because like with the, the conditions of God's forgiveness, it's upon our repentance, isn't it? So that shouldn't change when it comes to humankind. I don't think you're expected to forgive them.
Well, it's all ever here in Catholic Ireland is about forgiveness. But it's strange to Hein to forgive them.
Yeah.
I think it's just awful strange. And I'm sorry. First of all, I've changed my religion a long, long time ago, and I'm a Druid, and I've nothing against anyone's religion. A bit of religion can be good.
Yeah.
For people, I'm not saying they're all bad. I'm sure there's good people in the Catholic religion here.
Depends how you use it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I've no doubt about that at all. But again, I do think to myself, why aren't they crying out? Why aren't they shouting from the rooftop?
Yeah.
And that confuses me, because good people in a good religion and in a good church should shout out about it and say, stop, this is wrong. This can never go on again. But I don't hear much of that.
Do you know what? I was thinking, there's Billy... Oh, crumbs, it was after we'd spoken. That was 2019. Since then, I've spoken with the grandson of Billy Graham, called Boz Chividjian, and he's the founder of GRACE, which stands for... Right, let me get this right. Godly Response to Abuse Within the Christian Environment, or Catholic Environment. And he's brilliant. So he's an activist standing against people that have been abused in... in churches. Oh, I meant to send... Sorry, I should have thought... It's been a long time.
Will you text that on to me later, please?
Yes, I will. But he's amazing. And, it sounds like his grandfather was a good chap as well. But he's a real activist, and he's very passionate against this. And I've just...
Oh, brilliant. Well, that's lovely to hear.
Yeah.
That gives me hope.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he would... I'm just trying to... I think it's more the legal side of things that he deals with, him and his team. But if there is a way he can help with this, it's I'll send you the details. But it's
please.
We need
That's
people.
Wonderful. That gives me a bit of hope in life that there is people there that care, because I do get worried when I don't get a lot of people speaking out. I don't want them to support me, but I want them to support the fight against sexual abuse against little women and children.
Yes.
That's all I ask for. I don't want to be recognised at all. But I just want people to say, stop, this is wrong, and you can't treat the child and be cruel to the child. Nourish that child, help that child to get over the terrible trauma that it's been through and what it has suffered, instead of punishing them.
Yes. And I
was talking to, might be interesting, I was talking to a psychiatrist here. Now, he's passed away since, lovely, lovely man, and he was a doctor in Scotland. And then he became a psychiatrist, and he moved here to Ireland. And I was talking to him down to Kenny one day, and he was over at the mental hospitals here. And he said a social worker arrived one night with a little child that was abused into the mental home. And he said, well, what are you doing with the child here? And she said, well, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And he says, no, you have to take this child and comfort this child and support this child.
Yeah.
And it has to go into a nice environment where this little kid won't be frightened and it can talk.
Yeah.
and can tell its story. So he put a stop to children that was abused going into mental institutions.
Wow.
So, it went on big time here.
And part of the thing for children is, one of the huge gifts in adulthood should be good memories of being a child. That's so important.
Of course. Well, I don't have no good memories of being a child. The only good memories I have is being out with my grandmother that really cared about me.
Yeah.
And she didn't know that was going on. And actually, I think she went to her grave and never knew that went on.
Oh.
Because I wouldn't talk about it at the time. And then when I got out of them places, I headed off to London.
Yeah.
And I came back for her funeral. And maybe in a way, I'm glad that I never told her, because I think it would have killed her earlier than she did.
Do you? Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to do that to her. But I never spoke about it to my grandmother. I never spoke about it to anybody until in London, when I had nearly took my own life. And over in London at that time, if you tried anything like that, you would have to go for counselling after. And that's when it all came out. And even still after that, I kind of kept it a low profile until I moved back here and things started to come out.
Yeah.
And that's the good side of it. At least we're able to speak out about it now.
This is the thing, isn't it? And sometimes it takes certain things in our life to happen in order for us to take that next step of... I mean, that's a brave thing you did. It's a brave thing you're doing now. And I just...
thank you.
I'm hoping you don't get... What are you... I don't know how you feel about thinking about this. What are you fearful of what might happen as a consequence of the book?
No.
Good.
I don't care.
Good.
No, I don't care. I have no fear about it at all. It's my truth.
Yeah.
It happened. People know it happened. Why would a family offer you money if they didn't know it happened? It happened to other children in the avenue that I lived in.
Yeah.
It happened. I didn't realise that it happened to his own children. I didn't know that later. I could never accuse him of that. I never seen that, so I could never accuse him of it. I can only tell my story, and it's none of my business what they think of me. I
nice.
told my story. My book is coming out, and I'm going to be very proud of it.
Yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of the book.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Plugging it everywhere.
Thank you.
Absolutely plugging, because it's what we need. And also, I think...
Pardon?
Thankfully, I think we live in a sort of, I don't know what, well, like you say, it's sort of like back in the olden times in Ireland, but I think generally the world is, these days, you're more likely to be believed because there is so much coming out and about child abuse and even things like with Jimmy Savile, things that things that you wouldn't have expected, that we're thinking, oh my goodness, this is true. We wouldn't have expected with this or that. So I think your book will largely be believed.
Yes, and that's the most hurting thing about it, is not being believed. And I mean, when you think about it, who in their right mind would want to go forward and say they were abused as a child? My God, who would want to do it?
Yeah.
To bring all that suffering on you. I mean, there needs to be, anyone that would do that would be very unwell people.
Yes.
And would need a lot of help. Because it makes no sense. It's the most hardest thing and most hurting thing that you'll ever speak about.
Yeah.
You'll never have anything that will hurt you as much as that.
No.
I've been so much pain to this day.
Yes.
I hate even thinking back on my childhood. I look at the children, I look at my granddaughter now, I get flashbacks.
Do you?
I have
bet.
that for the rest of my life. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
I should have a flashback of picking flowers, playing with a doll, running around playing hide and go seek. They're not the things that enter my head. It's the brutality that I suffered will come into my head.
And no matter any amount of compensation, which we'll go into in a minute. No, I mean that is all well and good, but it's not, like you say, that the most important thing is that the things you will never get.
Yeah, exactly. Your life will never ever be healed. It will be healed a bit. We can work on ourselves. weekend, as my son is sending me off to Lanzarote now for my birthday. I was 70 there in August, and he bought that for me. I'll go off to Lanzarote. I'll try and find happiness and having a drink and looking down on the beach. Next minute you see a little child come along, you get a flashback again.
Yeah.
I've learned to live with that now. And to make it better and try and turn it around to something good and remember something good is to work on yourself 24/7, is to keep working on yourself. You shouldn't have to have your life like that.
No.
Nobody's life should be like that. Nobody's childhood should be like that. They shouldn't be your memories.
That's absolutely right. It should be. It's hard to see, isn't it, where God is in it all. And I absolutely don't blame you. Sort of change. I mean, you must feel very strange even seeing it. I don't know. How do you feel like when you see a cross or a crucifix? I mean, does that?
I don't even look at them. I turn my head away. To be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
For my peace of mind, and the Druidry helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Because you're connected to Mother Earth, and I think it gave me the strength, it gave me light. I was so dark, and the darkness inside me was so filled up in me. And I think it gave me, like, the tools to chisel a bit of the pain and the hurt and the darkness away, and I could let a bit of light in. And I think I have done that now. I have achieved that.
Yes.
I am letting light in, and I'm trying to deal with the flashbacks at the moment. They're my biggest thing now, is the flashbacks, but I'm working on it. And Druidry helps me to deal with that as well, and I have very good friends around me, very healthy, very strong people that have good minds and live good lives. Yeah. And I just love my Druidry. Only for that, I don't think I'd be here today.
Really? Oh, wow.
Mother Nature is the most beautiful thing that you can ever connect with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't go into a church if you'd have paid. No, I went into a wedding last week. I was bored to tears. And what was said in it, I went off into a different place.
Yeah.
And I just said to my son, I said, with the wedding, what was the ceremony like? And he looks at me, well, to tell you the truth, he said, I didn't get into it.
Really?
And I said, all right, okay.
Yeah.
And I deal with it, but I try to respect people as well.
Yes, you're very good at that.
I can't take it out on other people's beliefs, what they believe in. I try to respect everybody, and I hope that they would respect me.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I find encouraging, there's a lot of, there's a few Facebook groups that I belong to. You've got Safe Sheep Awareness, that's one, and that's American based, but it's sort of someone who'd come from an evangelical perspective. And it's good that you've got people that have still got the faith, whatever the faith is, but they've still got their faith, but they, like yourself, it's either changed, taken a different route, or they've still got the same belief system, but they've realised that this should have been love, and this is the crap of the people rather than God.
Yeah, and that's fine if they want to keep their faith, as long as they realise that a child being abused is wrong. Yes. I don't care what else they believe in and what else they want. If they want to go into the church whenever it suits them, it's a child for like what's going on here at the moment. I've heard we see write-ups about priests giving out about it, that a lot of Catholics here at the moment are going in and having their children baptised, but they're not back to the church again until the child is ready to make its first communion. And then it will disappear again until the child is ready to make its confirmation. Well, I don't care. I don't care about that. Yeah. It doesn't bother me. It's up to, as long as they have in their heads that it's wrong to abuse a child. That's what I care about.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And everyone should.
And if they want their faith and they feel happy in that faith that covered up child abuse, well, there's nothing I can do about that. I feel sad about it sometimes, that more people haven't opened up to it and don't give out about it. Now I meet people every day and they give out to me about it, that it's wrong, it's terrible. And I say, well, you need to be telling your community.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But look, I think things will get better. I have that hope that things will get better and that there will come a day. I won't see it, but I hope that you will see it and younger and my children will see it. That there will come a day when it's the most horrific crime on the planet is to touch a child. There's nothing worse in my book than to do something like that, and I hope that will change. That will be my wish. But for me, when I'm leaving here, I wish for that to happen.
Yeah, it will. I think it will.
Yeah, I hope so. I have that hope. I think it will.
And I think your book, there's going to be lots of people who are, I think it will take off for a number of reasons. There'll be lots of people who are guilty of this who will want to read it. There'll be lots of people who are just curious about the subject matter. There'll be lots of people who are, I don't like the word victims, survivors like yourself, who will want to read it. So I think there's going to be different people for different reasons wanting to read it, and that's going to be a good thing. And it's going to be a blessing. Is that the right? Well, I mean, I don't want that to sound sort of detrimental to you, but it's sometimes horrible things have to happen in order to bless others, and that doesn't seem very fair.
Yes, that side of it I can see too. Yeah, I know this is a horrible thing to say, but I think sometimes things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
I know people won't understand that, and I didn't understand it for a long time. But maybe I think this book will change for children. I think it will. People will read it and will say, how could a child have went through this terrible trauma?
Yeah.
How could, I mean, the nuns beating me up and everything. How could I have come through all that? But you just do. You have to, next morning, you have to get out of bed. I know you're shaking, you're terrified. But you have to get on with life. You have to keep on living. That's the wonderful thing about life.
Yeah.
Is that we have to keep on living. We have to get through it every day. And I'm going to get through it a lot better when this book comes out. It's coming out in April, and it's gone to print and everything, and there'll be no change in this time, and it will definitely, because the last time there was some hassle with the family, and they didn't want it to come out, and they were hurt, and they were in pain. I don't like people being in pain. I don't want to hurt nobody. And nobody should have to suffer for the abuser. He should have been made suffer when he was here. But unfortunately now he's gone, and I don't want any other people to suffer for it. But still, people can't be so unkind to ask me to keep quiet still.
Yeah,
I have to tell my story. My story needs to be out there.
That's further abuse if people are trying to hush you up.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes. Further abuse.
Yeah. And it's about you. It's about what's happened to you. It's not about what's happened to them.
It's about what happened to me. I'm not writing about anybody else. I'm just doing it about me, what happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, no, I think... So, since we last spoke, I can't believe it was 3 years... COVID hit us, and the time has just gone a bit doolally, hasn't it? But what's happened since we spoke? Now, there was some... was there some sort of compensation? Sorry, do correct me, sorry.
I'll tell you what's happened. And I can send you on photographs of it on the things. There was a Magdalene stone got, a big kind of a monument.
Okay.
But unfortunately, this guy that was running the group, nasty things happened, and it was hidden. So I got the guards to find it for me.
Oh.
And they did. Fair play to them. They've done a great job. So I collected it. I got my boss to collect it from the Wicklow Mountains.
Oh.
But because it was out in the elements for so long, it was kind of destroyed. So we had to put Councillor Elsie Manick helped me to put it together. So we decided that we would make it a journey stone.
Yeah.
And that's in the little museum in Dublin at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's in the little museum. It's in the basement. People don't have to pay to go in and see. They can look down in the basement and it's there. It's beautiful. So we're waiting for the council now, the Dublin council, to give us permission to put it somewhere very special in Dublin. And it's for all survivors, which I feel better about. It's for mother-baby homes. industrial schools and Magdalene Laundry.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so we
great.
have waiting for the new year for that. We're waiting to get our day once a year that we can celebrate and come together.
Yes, that's good.
Like
Important.
the people from the Holocaust and things like that. We want that day, so we're working on that at the moment.
That's really good.
Get the monument up, my book is coming out, and I say that's nearly everything, and we just meet up once a year then after that.
Wow.
And I'm going to try and fight for the justice, and it's not about the money. I couldn't care less about it.
That's right, yeah.
I'll give it to Child Line or something like that. It's never gave me no justice for the two places that I was trafficked to. They were left out. They ignored me. They didn't want to know about it. So I'm on the journey to fight that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm finished. I think I'll go off with them. I'll always take a call from you every now and then, Deirdre.
Yeah. It's good. It's
Yeah.
just, things are going in the right direction, and that's the whole thing, isn't it? It's about fighting for justice and fighting against the evil.
Yeah. And it's respect. How dare they just acknowledge one convict? See, the reason why they haven't acknowledged me is because they know I was trafficked from place to place.
Yeah.
They know I shouldn't have been in a Magdalene Laundry at the age of 12.
Absolutely.
And they don't want that to come out. They want me to go away and forget about, oh, here, we'll give you a few pounds now. Isn't that grand? That'll make your life a little bit better. No.
No, it doesn't.
It's not about money. It's nothing got to do with the money at all. It was the apology was good. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
now
that's
with
it
my
from heart.
book coming out, they can let them deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won't like this book coming out, but that's tough.
It's too
Sorry,
bad.
it's coming out, and that's it.
Yeah. It's too bad. And it's not as if there can be any, you couldn't be sued or anything, because it's not, slander is stuff that isn't true.
No,
You know?
there's nothing to sue me for.
Exactly,
I mean,
yeah.
The house that I live in, sure, no.
Exactly.
They can't. There's nothing to sue me for.
Yeah.
It's the truth. I was there. I have the proof that I was in these places. I could never get the proof on the blind school until 2 years ago. Would you believe there were still, I have all the proof of it, they were still sending me out, no, you were never here.
Oh.
No, you were never here.
Oh.
And they happened to send an email to a journalist by accident. Maureen Sullivan is on the rampage again. We know she was here. But we can't. I have the whole proof.
Oh.
Yeah. So then eventually they have the biggest solicitors in Ireland, the churches. I won't mention the names so I don't want to get anyone into trouble. But they have the biggest solicitors in Ireland. And the solicitor had to tell them, you better send out the papers to her that she was in your premises.
Yeah.
Because this email can get us all into a lot of trouble. By accident, there was a mistake, it was an error in the office that they let it out by accident. So I've got my papers to the 3 places that I was, of all the proof. There's not one lie in that book, not one lie.
No.
It's full of the truth.
Yeah. And that's going to be
And that's
frustrating.
what's important.
That's going to be frustrating for the abusers, the fact that they cannot take action because they just have to suck it up. Well, you do what you're going to do, you're going to get what you're going to get.
Oh,
That's,
yeah.
And that's the beauty of it.
I will definitely keep in touch, and I'll let you know exactly the dates and everything. I'm not sure. I know it's April, but I'm not sure if it's the first week in April.
Yeah.
But they'll tell me in the next 2 weeks or so I should know.
Oh, that's brilliant. No, do let me know, because I'd be.
Oh, I'm sure, I sure will. Gosh, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. No, one of the reasons I wanted to get in contact with you was because, speaking with Boz and you came to mind with the whole thing there. But just to mention this briefly, because I've done a broadcast about this, is that you've been a huge inspiration to me on a personal level. Quite recently.
Thank you. I'm delighted about that. That's lovely. Thank you.
Oh, that's okay. Well, the fact
It's lovely to help other people. It's just, it's so empowering to help another human being.
It is, isn't it? And it's not because one person who's been through something. It may be a different sort of thing to someone else, but you can sort of relate to. So I've just started a little meetup group called Victims of Police Misconduct Support Group, because I've been in. I won't go into more details, but I've the police have lied about something completely false with no evidence, and it's trying to. It's that whole thing, like going back to what you're doing. It's that trying to get. You speak out about it and they try and hush you up, whatever movement, whether it's the Catholic movement, whether it's the police, they try and hush you up. They've done wrong. And
yes, I remember you telling me that before, coming back to me now.
And then,
it's important to empower people and give people strength and encourage them and, keep it up. Don't let go and don't keep silent for nobody.
Thank you. That's like with yourself. You speak out, and then you realise, hang on a minute, there's others here. They've been through, and you get that sort of support. It can never take away what you've been through, but you get that sort of strength. Power in numbers. Power in numbers.
Yeah, and that's why it's important. And we're speaking up for people coming after us as well, and it gives them encouragement as well.
Yes, that's it, isn't it? It's getting the people to rise up against them. What would you say your, I guess you must have sort of, you go with flashbacks, you must have mixed emotions. I mean, what would you say your strongest emotion over all of this is? Is it anger, frustration, hatred, sadness, mixture of everything? Actually,
I think it's sadness.
Sadness, yeah.
I think it's sadness because the way I think of it, now other people might think differently about it, the sadness, I grew up in a Catholic family. I grew up where there was a rosary said every night in the home.
Yeah.
I grew up with a stepfather that went to Mass every day. My mother, rest her soul, wasn't far behind him. She'd always have a rosary beads and everything in her hand. I grew up with these people all around me.
Yeah.
All these good people, all these people caring about God and praying and do-gooders.
Yeah.
And yet, not one of these do-gooders stood up for me or said, where is that girl gone? Why has she gone there? Why isn't she in school? What happened to her?
Yeah.
And to have a flashback of your childhood of being abused by a horrible, horrible man, is the most cruelest thing or most cruelest vision that you'll ever have in your head. I would never, ever wish it on anybody.
Yeah.
And it's these good people letting that be destroyed on an innocent child. That saddens me. It's the pain and the sadness of that.
Yeah.
I think it's more sad than anger or anything else. Some people might say, oh no, it's because you're angry, maybe. I feel
naturally.
It's a sadness.
Yeah. Yeah, that's down to...
That's the way I feel about it. I grew up in Catholic Ireland where there was a picture, a Sacred Heart picture with a little red light under it in every house that I went into. There was the Sacred Heart, and I see one now, I want to puke.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, I grew up among all these good people, but at the end of the day, not one of them really cared. Not one of them was a good Christian. To be a good Catholic and a good Christian, you have to care about other people, especially children. I know we can't interfere in adults and people's lives and everything. I understand all that. But when a child is being hurt, surely you can go down. In them days, there would have been a phone booth or you could go to somebody and say, look, I have this concern.
Yeah.
Somebody should have opened their mouth somewhere. And then to go into this, I don't know what to call it, to be honest. To go into this nun at school and trust her and tell her what happened to me, and then I end up being beaten, kicked, slaving from morning to night.
Awful.
Because I was an abused child. I mean, it's crazy.
It's crazy. It's mad. Yeah.
Think about it. Now, how did it happen? How did that happen?
It's the frustration of not being able to get them all together and just throw your hands up in the air.
That nun that day, when I said, how did this happen to me? That I was treated like this? Did nobody open their mouth? Did nobody say, wait, now hold on, why is this? First of all, they knew it was wrong that I was in the Magdalene Laundry, because why hide me in the tunnel when people came? So they knew it was wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
But when she turned around and said, yeah, it was very wrong what was done to you, Maureen, but you must remember you were an abused child. You were sexually abused by your stepfather. We were afraid you would tell the other children. That's not an answer. I mean, why did they allow that to happen? How can I'll never get the answer now.
Yeah.
I know I'll never get the answer.
There should never, when she started answering that, there should never have been a but, should there? There's no excuse. Because, but, I mean, and naturally, all that you'd gone through anyway, it would be natural to try and talk to someone, to talk to anyone, because you'd already been through enough. To start
even if the Reverend Mother had brought me up to the office and said, sit down, Maureen, look at you, you shouldn't be here, but this is the only facility or the only way we can deal with it. But we want to make sure you get your education, we want to make sure that you do this, are you okay, would you like something to read?
Yeah.
No, they were so cruel. I was working from morning to night, scrubbing corridors, working during the day in the laundry, and then at night at my recreation time it was making rosary beads and knitting iron sweaters. How cruel was that?
Yeah.
I even said it to her, look, I forget about this, it was you were afraid that I would talk to the other children. Okay, I'll try and understand maybe a little bit. I'll try and give it some understanding. But then why was I working in laundry as a child?
Yeah.
They were classing me as a penance. I was there for my sins. I was a soiled child. That's the way she looked at it. They looked at it. Yeah. I was a soiled child. How sick is that?
It's dreadfully sick. Despicably sick. I just wonder, if the nuns forbidding you to mention to anyone that you'd stayed there, was part of that for the fear of what if a protector may come for you and deal with them? Does that come into it?
Yeah, that's exactly what they're. It was just a complete cover-up, and I'm just wondering how many other children did they cover this up on?
Yeah.
How many other children suffered? How many of them poor Magdalene women are gone to their graves, and we don't know their stories?
Yeah,
we don't know what happened, why they were there, what happened in their lives. Well, I said, I'm not going, I'm not leaving. Everybody will know what happened in mine. But they're not getting away with it. I was so determined, no matter what happened with this book, I was so determined to get it out.
Yeah.
So at long last, it's all happening. I can't wait for April to come. I'm wishing my few months away, and I shouldn't be doing that at my age, but I can't help it.
Yeah. And also, do you know what I was thinking? Because I think life's experiences take us different places, and I no longer have the strictness of the faith that the Baptist faith that I was raised in, And I'm wondering, is just hearing you speaking about this and saying about any the others, Magdalene women that have gone to their graves and what have they been through. We're not to know if they could actually be aware. I know it sounds a bit silly, but they could actually, because we don't know what happens to the soul. They could actually have an awareness.
I believe that they're connected with me. Would you believe that? I know people think I'm crazy, but that's fine. I mean, it's good to be a little bit crazy, because otherwise you wouldn't live properly. I totally believe that the Magdalene women are with me in every step that I take.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I feel them around me.
Wow.
I make sure that they're graves every year, that we go and we honour them, and we have a lovely flag in New Ross that we fly for them.
Oh.
Beautiful flowers on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and their grave is well looked after now. All their names is up on it. An English lady by the name of Frances Finnegan,
Right.
big, powerful woman, came over here to Ireland, and she looked into a lot of it, and she gave them a little threat. You get them names up on that headstone, and every one of them women should be named. And they even had one woman born on the 31st of April. There's no 31st of April.
Oh.
That's how much they cared.
Oh, my
That's
goodness.
how much they cared about us. When they sold High Park in Dublin, there was, I'm not sure now of the number, I think it was 125 bodies were supposed to be there. But when the undertaker started digging and everything, he came to them and he said, there's a lot more bodies here than that.
Oh.
Yeah, and they were taken into Glasnevin, and they were put in the furnace after 12 o'clock at night. Yeah, no questions asked. How come there was no questions asked? So me and my boss, he was a very good friend of mine, I used to work for him.
Yeah.
And we went up to Glasnevin, and I said, this is bothering me. I said, I'm really bothered about this. And we asked the guy that was working up there, I said, would you mind if I ask you a question? He said, no, it's fine. Poor man is dead now. I said, how did all them bodies come in here and they were cremated and no questions asked? One woman with no skull, another woman with plaster Paris on her arm, other women with plaster Paris on their legs. I said, how come there was no questions asked? He said, because I'll tell you why. You want me to be honest? I said, yeah, please. He said, on the panel, he said, there is 12. And out of that 12, he said, 10 of them are Catholics. He said, that's why. And I said, oh, my God.
Dear.
He said, yeah. He said, I'm just being honest. I said, no, I said, I appreciate your honesty. It doesn't matter how hard it is, as long as it's truth. I said, I'll accept it. I said, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And he said, it wouldn't happen today. But the church, all that they had to say is take them bodies in, keep quiet, say nothing. He said, that was it. That was the rule. That was the law.
Dear.
They were the law in this country. They ruled this country.
Disgusting. Absolutely awful.
Disgusting. That's what they are. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely disgusting. Oh, Maureen, time has flown by, but we could actually do when your book's out, we can do another one, shall we? Shall we have another?
Oh, that would be lovely. Please. Thank you very much. You're very good.
Oh no, you're just amazing. You're such a gem. I'm so proud of you, and I think.
Thank you. Thank you so much. See, that's where hope comes in.
Yeah, and I think you're going to get a lot more. I haven't got a crystal ball, but I believe you're going to get a lot more positivity than negativity from the book. I think your positivity will outweigh.
I say that's going to happen. I'll do my best.
Yeah.
I'll keep speaking out. They're not going to stop me.
No.
That's my wish.
Yeah.
For the rest of my life, that I speak out and that I can help some child.
Yeah.
I hope it's many. But
yes,
I'll be happy with that.
Well, even things like book signings and promotion, I think there'll be a lot of people coming up to you and just saying I just want to say thank you, Maureen. These people that you may not know, but just wanting to thank, knowing you through your work.
Oh, they will. There's good. We must take the good part as well as the bad. There is a lot of good people out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is good people, and I kind of cling on to that. I have to. Because if I was to keep on to the other horrible black dark people, I think I wouldn't be where I am today. So I go into the light side and I go to my druidry. I stay under a tree. I know people think I'm mad. That's fine.
I don't. It's too bad. It's them, isn't it?
Hug trees. I love trees. I think they're so special.
Yeah, they are lovely.
They're a part of Mother Earth, and Mother Earth is beautiful.
Yes.
And I just love it, and that's where I get all my lightness from, that's where I get comfort from.
Yeah.
And I think if I hadn't got that, I don't think I'd be here today, to be honest.
Well, thank God for that. I mean, thank God that you just had a different route. I mean,
and I'm going to try and stay around for a long time.
You will. You'll stay around for a long time. And also, I think
it's a bit of fighting to do.
Yeah, and I think also, like what you said about time's going. Just briefly, I think what you mentioned about things happen for a reason. I feel that this book is perfectly timed, because had it been written 10, 15, 20 years ago, I don't know whether more has come out, and so it's brilliant time for your book to come out to sort of keep you protected. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I totally agree. Yes.
So I think it's
100%. I believe that. I believe it's time now for it to come out.
Yes.
Because more coming out about abuse here.
Yeah.
And I think now is the time that maybe people will sit up and take note of what's happening in our lovely Catholic Ireland.
Yeah. Come and move to England. It's a different world here. There won't be any, any of this horrible. So I'm not saying I love
England. I'm not saying everything is perfect in it.
No, it's not.
So England was good to me. It was very good to me. It gave me a start in life. I would have never have got that in my own country.
Yeah.
It gave me a great start. I must have been over there a few weeks ago. I went to Tina Turner.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Now, it wasn't her was in it. It was a girl acting as her, and she was brilliant.
Yeah.
And it was down in the city. A friend of mine got it for me for my birthday, for my 17th birthday. And I was over there, and it was on the 1st of November. I went over. Brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Yes, we need you over here again. Oh, thank you so much.
I love going back to England. I love it. I love London. I think it's a powerful country. They're our neighbours. I got on with English people. I'm not saying that England is perfect. Nowhere is perfect.
No, absolutely not. No.
But we have to solve the problem of child abuse everywhere.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what country it is,
especially
Ireland.
Too right. Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Maureen. Really, really appreciate you being with us. And
thank you. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak, and I hope to talk to you again. Thank you so much.
We will talk again soon. Once that we'll have the link as well. So it's may you continue to keep up the brilliant work and be blessed. And and to the audience tuning in, much love to you and God bless. Bye bye.